Close your eyes for a moment and imagine floating gently through the vast darkness of space, where silence wraps around you like the softest blanket, and emptiness becomes not lonely, but profoundly peaceful. Tonight, we're going to explore something truly extraordinary, the biggest void in the known universe, a place so vast and quiet that it makes our entire galaxy seem like a single grain of sand on an endless beach. Before we begin this gentle journey together, if you enjoy relaxing science stories like this one, feel free to subscribe, give this video a like, and comment below. Let me know what country you're watching from and what time you're listening to this tonight. Your presence here, wherever you are in the world, makes this cosmic journey a little less lonely. Settle in now, make yourself comfortable, and let your breathing slow as we drift together into the deepest, most serene corner of our universe. Tonight, we'll discover that sometimes the most beautiful stories are found not in what fills the darkness, but in the darkness itself, vast, mysterious, and surprisingly full of wonder. Asterisk picture, if you will, standing in a field on the clearest night you've ever experienced. The stars stretch endlessly above you, tiny pinpricks of light scattered across velvet darkness like diamond dust on black silk. Each star represents not just a single sun, but often entire solar systems, worlds spinning quietly in the cosmic dance that has continued for billions of years. The Milky Way curves overhead like a gentle river of light, and you feel small, but not insignificant, connected, part of something magnificent and infinite. Now, imagine that you could step back even further, so far that our entire galaxy, with its 400 billion stars, becomes just a small glowing island in an ocean of space. And then imagine stepping back further still, until you can see not just our galaxy, but thousands, then millions of other galaxies, each one a cosmic city of stars, each one home to countless worlds and untold stories. From this vast perspective, you begin to notice something remarkable and strangely soothing. These galaxies aren't scattered randomly through space like salt thrown carelessly across a table. Instead, they form patterns, delicate, web-like structures that stretch across the universe like the most intricate lacework you've ever seen. Galaxies cluster together in groups, and these groups connect to other groups through long, flowing streams of light, creating a cosmic web of unimaginable beauty and scale. But here's where our story becomes truly extraordinary, and perhaps a little mysterious. In this grand cosmic web, between the glowing threads of galaxies, there are spaces. Not just small gaps, but vast regions of such profound emptiness that they challenge our very understanding of what it means for space to be empty. These are the cosmic voids, regions where galaxies are so few and far between that if you lived in one, you might look up at your night sky and see almost nothing. Think about that for a moment. We're so accustomed to our rich, star-filled sky that it's almost impossible to imagine a night where you might see only a handful of distant, faint smudges of light instead of thousands of brilliant stars. It would be like living in a house where most of the rooms are completely dark and quiet, with only a few distant candles flickering in far-off corners. The largest of these voids, our gentle subject for tonight, is called the Boötes Void, though it's also known by the more poetic name, the Great Nothing. It's a sphere of space so vast that it contains almost no galaxies across a region that stretches for approximately 330 million light-years. To put this in perspective, our entire Milky Way galaxy is only about 100,000 light-years across. This void is so large that you could fit more than 3,000 Milky Way galaxies lined up side by side across its diameter. What does such emptiness look like? How does it feel to contemplate a region of space so quiet, so still, that entire civilizations could exist there in the most profound cosmic solitude? Tonight, as we drift together through this story, we'll explore not just the science of this great emptiness, but its strange beauty, its mysteries, and perhaps most surprisingly, what it teaches us about connection, solitude, and the hidden. Architecture of our universe. Let your breathing slow as we prepare to journey into this cosmic silence. There's something deeply peaceful about contemplating such vastness. It puts our earthly worries into perspective and reminds us that we're part of something far grander and more mysterious than we often remember in our daily lives. Asterisk, asterisk, to understand the Boötes Void, we must first gently explore how our universe is structured, and it's far more beautiful and organized than you might imagine. Picture the universe as a vast, three-dimensional tapestry woven from light and darkness, where galaxies are the bright threads and voids are the quiet spaces between them. This cosmic tapestry didn't always exist. In the very beginning, shortly after the Big Bang some 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was remarkably smooth and uniform, like a perfectly calm lake on a windless morning. But within this smoothness were tiny, almost imperceptible variations in density, regions where matter was just slightly more concentrated than in others. Like the gentlest ripples on that cosmic lake dot over millions and billions of years, gravity worked its patient magic on these small variations. Areas with slightly more matter attracted even more matter, growing slowly but steadily. Meanwhile, regions with less matter became increasingly empty as their sparse contents drifted away toward denser areas, drawn by gravity's gentle but inexorable pull. Think of it like a slow-motion version of what happens when you drain water from a bathtub. The water doesn't disappear all at once. It flows in gentle currents toward the drain, leaving some areas empty while others channel more and more water. In our universe, gravity acts as countless invisible drains, pulling matter into an intricate network of dense filaments and nodes, while leaving vast regions nearly empty. This process, called gravitational clustering, took place over cosmic timescales that dwarf human imagination. While entire species evolved and went extinct on Earth countless times over, while mountains rose and wore away to dust, while continents drifted across the face of our planet, the universe was slowly, patiently organizing itself into the beautiful web-like structure we see today. The Boötes Void represents one of the most extreme examples of this process, a region where the original density of matter was so low that virtually everything drifted away over billions of years, leaving behind what astronomers sometimes call a cosmic desert. But unlike earthly deserts, which can feel harsh and forbidding, there's something profoundly peaceful about contemplating this cosmic emptiness. Scientists discovered this great void in 1981, not by seeing it directly, for how do you see emptiness, but by mapping what surrounds it. Imagine trying to understand the shape of a soap bubble by looking only at the soap film that defines its surface. Astronomers mapped thousands of galaxies in this region of space, carefully measuring their distances and positions, and gradually realized that there was an enormous spherical region where galaxies simply weren't. The void isn't perfectly empty. Nothing in the universe truly is. It contains perhaps a dozen known galaxies scattered across its vast volume, like islands of volume, light in an ocean of darkness. If our local group of galaxies, including the Milky Way, were located in the center of the Boötes Void, the nearest neighboring galaxy would be so far away that it would appear as nothing more than a faint smudge of light, barely visible even through the most powerful telescopes. Asterisk, asterisk. Let me tell you a story about a quiet astronomer named Robert Kirshner, who in the early 1980s was doing something that might seem mundane, but was actually quite extraordinary. He was counting galaxies. Picture him in those pre-digital days, sitting in observatories under star-filled skies, patiently photographing sections of the cosmos, and then, in the gentle lamplight of his office, carefully marking each tiny galaxy he could identify on his photographic plates. Kirshner wasn't looking for emptiness, few scientists ever set out to find nothing. He was part of a larger effort to map the universe, to understand how galaxies were distributed through space. It was painstaking work, the kind that required endless patience and a deep love for the cosmos. Each photographic plate represented hours of telescope time, and each galaxy identified was a small victory in humanity's quest to understand our cosmic neighborhood. But as Kirshner and his colleagues Margaret Geller, Augustus Oehmler, and Paul Schechter plotted their discoveries, on maps of the sky, they began to notice something unusual. In the constellation Boötes, the herdsmen, there was a region where their pencil marks became sparse, then sparser still, where they expected to find the usual scattered population of distant galaxies. They found very little dot at first. They wondered if their instruments were failing them, or if cosmic dust was somehow blocking their view of this region. It's natural to doubt such an extraordinary finding. The idea that a region of space, nearly 350 million light-years across, could be almost completely empty seemed to challenge everything they thought they knew about how the universe was organized. But night after night, telescope session after telescope session, the evidence accumulated. The void was real. They had stumbled upon what would become known as the largest known structure, or rather, absence of structure, in the observable universe. In scientific papers, they described it with measured, careful language, but one can imagine the quiet awe they must have felt, realizing they had discovered a cosmic mystery of unprecedented scale. The discovery of the Boötes Void was like finding a room in a busy house where all the furniture had been removed, where even the sounds from neighboring rooms seemed muffled and distant. It challenged astronomers' understanding of how matter was distributed after the Big Bang and raised profound questions about the processes that shaped our universe's large-scale structure. There's something deeply moving about this story. How patient observation and careful mapping revealed one of the universe's most extraordinary secrets. These astronomers weren't using exotic instruments or revolutionary new technologies. They were simply looking up with dedication and care, night after night, until the cosmos revealed something unprecedented. In the years that followed, other astronomers could refine their discovery. They found that the void wasn't perfectly spherical, but had a more complex shape, like a cosmic bubble that had been gently stretched and deformed by the gravitational influences of surrounding matter. They discovered those few lonely galaxies scattered through its volume, each one like a single candle burning in a vast, dark cathedral. The Boötes Void reminds us that the universe still holds surprises, still contains mysteries that can fundamentally change how we understand our cosmic home. It also speaks to the power of patient, careful observation, how sometimes the most profound discoveries come not from dramatic moments of revelation, but from the gradual accumulation of quiet understanding. One careful observation at a time. Now, let's take a gentle journey together into this great cosmic silence. Close your eyes and imagine that you're aboard a spacecraft designed not for speed, but for contemplation, a vessel that moves through space as quietly as a leaf drifting on a still pond. We're going to travel to the Boötes Void, but this journey will take place in the theater of your imagination, where we can cross vast distances in moments and experience the impossible as we leave our solar system behind. The sun diminishes to just another star among many, then fades into the general glow of the Milky Way. We pass through regions of space familiar to astronomers, past the local group of galaxies, beyond the Virgo cluster with its thousands of island universes, each one a swirling congregation of billions of stars. The view from our imaginary window shows a universe rich with cosmic architecture, galaxies arranged in long filaments and vast sheets, connected by gossamer threads of dark matter, invisible to the eye, but revealed by the graceful dance of visible matter around it. But as we journey toward the constellation Boötes, something begins to change. The cosmic scenery, once rich and varied, starts to thin. Galaxies become fewer and more distant. The bright threads of the cosmic web grow faint and eventually disappear entirely. It's like traveling from a bustling city through its suburbs and into a countryside that becomes increasingly remote and quiet. Finally, we arrive at our destination, the heart of the Boötes Void. What do we see here? The view from our spacecraft window is unlike anything most humans have ever contemplated. The sky is almost entirely black, not the rich, star-filled darkness we know from Earth, but a profound emptiness broken only by a handful of faint, distant smudges of light, the few galaxies that call this cosmic desert home. If you lived on a planet in one of these isolated galaxies, your night sky would be a revelation of cosmic solitude. Instead of the Milky Way's bright river of stars stretching across the heavens, you might see nothing but darkness punctuated by perhaps a dozen faint, ghostly patches of light, your nearest galactic neighbors, each one hundreds of millions of light years away. Imagine the civilizations that might exist in such cosmic isolation. Their astronomers would have developed entirely different mythologies about the universe. Where our ancestors saw patterns in the rich tapestry of stars and invented stories about hunters and bears and swans, theirs might have created legends about the great darkness itself, about the profound silence that surrounds their cosmic island. Yet, there's something surprisingly peaceful about this imagined solitude. Without the gravitational chaos of densely packed galaxies, without the disruption of close galactic encounters, the few galaxies in the void might be havens of stability. Stars would form and live their lives in unprecedented tranquility. Planets might orbit their suns for billions of years without the cosmic disruptions that occasionally reshape our own galactic neighborhood. The void also offers us a unique perspective on cosmic time. In denser regions of the universe, galaxies merge and collide, triggering bursts of star formation and creating the spectacular chaos we associate with cosmic evolution. But in the Boötes Void, time moves differently. Change happens so slowly that entire galactic rotations, processes that take hundreds of millions of years, might occur without any significant external influence. As we float here in our imaginary spacecraft, surrounded by this vast emptiness, we might experience something like what mystics have called the dark night of the soul, but in a cosmic sense. This isn't the darkness of despair, but the darkness of profound peace, of space so vast and quiet that it allows for a different kind of contemplation entirely. The void teaches us about scale in ways that are both humbling and oddly comforting. Our daily concerns, our planetary troubles, even the fate of our galaxy, are revealed as tiny ripples in an ocean of space so vast that it makes our problems seem not insignificant, but simply contextual, part of a much larger, much more mysterious story that we're only beginning to understand. Asterisk, asterisk. As we rest here in our contemplation of this cosmic emptiness, let me share with you some gentle surprises about the Boötes Void, little-known facts that make this region of space even more mysterious and beautiful than you might imagine. First, consider this soothing paradox. The Boötes Void, despite being called empty, is actually expanding. Like a soap bubble growing larger as you blow into it, this region of space is slowly becoming even more vast as the universe itself expands. The few galaxies within it are drifting further apart from each other with each passing million years, making their isolation even more profound. It's as if the universe is actively creating more solitude, more quiet space for contemplation. Here's another gentle mystery. Scientists believe that if you could somehow transport yourself instantly to the exact center of the Boötes Void, you would find yourself at one of the most unique vantage points in the entire universe. From there, looking out in any direction, you would see the edge of the void as a faint, spherical shell of distant galaxies, like standing inside a vast snow globe where all the snow has settled on the inner surface, leaving you suspended in perfect, crystal-clear emptiness. The void also holds secrets about time itself. Because light takes so long to cross such vast distances, when we observe the galaxies at the edge of the void, we're seeing them as they were hundreds of millions of years ago. The void serves as a kind of cosmic time machine, preserving glimpses of how the universe looked in its younger days. Those distant galaxies on the void's edge are like old photographs in a cosmic album, showing us snapshots of cosmic evolution frozen in light. Perhaps most surprisingly, the Boötes Void isn't alone. Astronomers have discovered that our universe is filled with smaller voids, cosmic bubbles of emptiness at various scales. Some are merely millions of light years across. Others rival the Boötes Void in size. Together, they create a cosmic foam structure, like the bubbles in a gentle bath, where galaxies exist primarily on the surfaces of these bubbles, while their interiors remain largely empty. Asterisk, asterisk. There's something almost musical about this structure. If you could somehow hear the gravitational waves produced by matter moving through space, the cosmic web might sound like a vast, slow symphony, with the dense filaments providing the bass notes and the voids creating spaces of silence. Cosmic rests in the universal composition that make the music more beautiful by their very absence of sound. The void also challenges our intuitions about what empty means. Even in this most vacant region of space, there are still approximately 2 atoms per cubic meter, mostly hydrogen left over from the Big Bang. That might sound like nothing, but consider that there are more atoms in the Boötes Void than there are grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth. Even cosmic emptiness, when multiplied by such vast volumes, contains multitudes. Scientists have discovered that the void has a subtle structure of its own. Rather than being perfectly smooth, it contains faint wisps and threads of dark matter, invisible scaffolding that helped guide the formation of those few galaxies that do exist within it. It's as if the void has a ghost-like architecture, visible only through its gravitational effects on light passing through it. One of the most poetic discoveries about the Boötes Void is that it appears to be relatively young in cosmic terms. While the universe is 13.8 billion years old, this particular void may have only achieved its current size and emptiness within the last few billion years. In cosmic terms, it's still growing into its full potential for solitude. Asterisk, asterisk. What does it mean to contemplate such vastness, such profound emptiness? As we float here in our imagination, surrounded by the gentle darkness of the Boötes Void, we might find that this cosmic solitude offers us unexpected gifts, not just scientific understanding, but a different way of thinking about existence itself. The void invites us to consider the beauty of absence. In our daily lives, we're surrounded by constant stimulation, sounds, sights, information, activity. We fill our schedules, our spaces, our minds with things and thoughts and experiences. But the Boötes Void suggests that emptiness, too, has its own profound value. Like the silence between musical notes that makes the melody possible, cosmic voids provide the spaces that give meaning and structure to the universe's grand composition. There's something deeply meditative about realizing that most of the universe consists of these quiet spaces. If the cosmos were a vast library, the galaxies would be like books scattered throughout enormous reading rooms, while the voids would be the peaceful silence that allows contemplation and understanding. Without this cosmic silence, the universe might be too crowded, too chaotic for the delicate processes that create stars, planets, and perhaps life itself. The void also speaks to us about patience and time. In our human experience, we're accustomed to quick changes, rapid developments, immediate responses. But the Boötes Void reminds us that the most profound transformations often happen slowly, over timescales so vast that they dwarf not just individual human lives, but the entire history of our species. The void formed through billions of years of gradual change, matter slowly migrating elsewhere, Leaving behind this serene emptiness, consider what this teaches us about solitude in our own lives. We often fear being alone, worry about emptiness, or silence in our daily experience. But the void suggests that solitude can be generative, that emptiness can be full of potential. Just as the cosmic voids provide space for the universe to organize itself into beautiful structures, perhaps the quiet moments in our own lives, the pauses, the spaces between activities, are where our deepest understanding and growth occur. Few galaxies that do exist within the Boötes Void offer another gentle lesson. Despite their profound isolation, they continue to exist, to form stars, to evolve and change. Their solitude hasn't diminished them. If anything, it may have protected them from the cosmic collisions and disruptions that occasionally reshape galaxies in denser regions of space. Sometimes, being apart from the crowd allows for a different kind of flourishing. There's also something humbling and oddly comforting about the void scale. It reminds us that we exist within a universe so vast and mysterious that our everyday concerns, while important to us, are part of an infinitely larger context. The stress of daily life, the worries that keep us awake at night, the conflicts and challenges we face, all of these exist within a cosmos that contains regions of such profound peace and emptiness that they stretch our imagination to its limits. Yet, rather than making us feel insignificant, this perspective might actually be liberating. We are part of a universe that includes both the densest galactic clusters and the most serene voids, both regions of intense stellar activity and zones of cosmic calm. We contain within ourselves the same fundamental elements that make up the sparse matter floating through the Boötes Void. We are, quite literally, made of the same stuff as this cosmic emptiness. ****. The Boötes Void also invites us to reconsider our relationship with mystery itself. In our age of information, we're accustomed to having answers at our fingertips, explanations for almost everything we encounter. But the void represents something beautifully unknowable, a region so vast and sparse that we may never fully understand its deepest secrets. There's something profoundly restful about accepting that some cosmic mysteries are meant to remain mysterious, that not everything needs to be completely understood to be appreciated. Think about how this applies to the quiet moments in your own life. Perhaps the peace you feel watching a sunset doesn't need to be analyzed or explained. Perhaps the comfort you find in silence doesn't require justification. The void teaches us that some of the most profound experiences, whether cosmic or personal, exist in the spaces between understanding, in the gentle acceptance of mystery. The void also offers us a meditation on interconnectedness. Despite its apparent emptiness, this region of space is intimately connected to the rest of the universe. Its formation was shaped by gravitational influences from distant galaxy clusters. A few galaxies within it were sculpted by cosmic processes. That began shortly after the Big Bang. Even in its isolation, the void participates in the grand cosmic dance. It's simply dancing to a slower, quieter rhythm. This reminds us that our own moments of solitude are never truly separate from the others world around us. Even when we're alone, we carry within us the influence of every person we've ever met, every experience we've had, every breath of air that connects us to the living planet beneath our feet. Solitude isn't isolation. It's a different way of participating in the universal community. As we contemplate the void's vast dimensions, 330 million light years across, we might find that our minds struggle to truly grasp such scale. And perhaps that's the point. The void teaches us humility, reminding us that there are aspects of existence that transcend our ability to fully comprehend them. This isn't a limitation to be frustrated by, but a gift to be received with wonder. In meditation traditions, there's often talk of the emptiness that exists at the heart of all things, not a vacant emptiness, but a pregnant void full of potential. The Boötes Void embodies this concept on a cosmic scale. It's not truly empty, but spacious in a way that allows for possibilities we can barely imagine. Perhaps in its vast, quiet depths, processes are occurring that we haven't yet learned to detect, subtle interactions between dark matter and dark energy, quantum fluctuations that operate on scales both impossibly small and unimaginably large. Void also speaks to the beauty of patience and gradual change. In our fast-paced world, we often seek immediate results, instant gratification, rapid transformation. But the void formed through processes so gradual that even geological time seems hurried by comparison. It reminds us that the most profound changes often happen slowly, accumulating over time until something entirely new emerges, like sediment slowly building into mountains, or understanding gradually deepening into wisdom. Consider how this applies to your own growth and healing. Perhaps the changes you most desire in your life are already occurring, but at a pace so gradual that you can't perceive them from day to day. Perhaps, like the matter that slowly drifted away to create the void, the things that no longer serve, you are already beginning their own gentle migration away from your life, leaving behind spaces for new possibilities to emerge. The Boötes Void offers us perhaps one of the most profound lessons about perspective. From our vantage point on Earth, surrounded by the rich stellar population of the Milky Way, it's hard to imagine what it would be like to live in such cosmic solitude. But perhaps the civilizations that might exist in the void's few isolated galaxies have developed entirely different ways of understanding existence, philosophies built around vast emptiness rather than abundant fullness. Imagine the mythology such civilizations might create, where our ancestors looked up and saw patterns in the stars that reminded them of hunters and animals and gods. Beings in the void might have developed stories about the great silence, about the spaces between things rather than the things themselves. Their creation myths might speak not of light conquering darkness, but of darkness and light existing in perfect, balanced dance across infinite space. Their scientists might have developed a physics that begins with emptiness rather than matter, understanding that space itself is the fundamental reality from which particles and energy occasionally emerge. Their philosophers might have concluded that consciousness itself is most clearly revealed in the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the vast potential that exists before any particular experience arises. This perspective offers us a gentle challenge to our own assumptions. We tend to define ourselves by what we have, what we do, what we think, what we feel. But the void suggests another possibility, that we might also be defined by our capacity for emptiness, for silence, for the spacious awareness that can hold all experiences without being diminished by any of them. The void also invites us to consider the profound beauty of things that exist at the very edge of perception. The few galaxies scattered through the Boötes Void are like whispers in a vast cathedral, barely audible, but made more precious by their rarity. In our own lives, we might learn to pay attention to the subtle experiences that usually escape our notice, the pause between heartbeats, the moment of silence before sleep, the barely perceptible shift in light as day becomes evening. There's something deeply restful about realizing that most of the universe consists of these quiet, gentle spaces. It suggests that rest and emptiness aren't aberrations to be filled or problems to be solved, but fundamental aspects of how reality organizes itself. The universe seems to understand something we often forget, that activity and rest, fullness and emptiness, sound and silence are partners in a cosmic dance that requires both to be complete. The void's existence also speaks to the creative power of absence. Just as the empty space in a sculpture can be as important as the stone that remains, the cosmic voids play a crucial role in giving shape and meaning to the universe's structure. Without these vast empty regions, the cosmic web of galaxies might collapse into an undifferentiated soup of matter. The voids provide the structure that allows complexity and beauty to emerge. Perhaps this offers us insight into our own creative processes. The pauses in conversation that allow meaning to emerge. The blank canvas that makes painting possible. The silence that gives music its rhythm and shape. The empty page that allows words to find their form. Maybe creativity itself depends on these generous spaces of emptiness that allow new possibilities to arise. As we rest here in our contemplation of the void, we might find that it offers us a different kind of companionship, not the companionship of shared activity or conversation, but the deeper companionship of shared existence in the vast, mysterious, fundamentally friendly universe. We are made of the same hydrogen that floats through the void's sparse regions. We are shaped by the same gravitational forces that carved out this cosmic cathedral of emptiness. The void reminds us that we are never truly alone, because we are always part of this grand cosmic story, a story that includes both the densest galaxy clusters and the most serene empty spaces, both the most brilliant stars and the gentlest darkness between them. Asterisk, asterisk, as we drift deeper into our contemplation of the Boötes Void, we might begin to understand that this cosmic emptiness offers us a mirror for our own inner landscape. Just as the void contains vast spaces punctuated by occasional islands of light, our consciousness contains expanses of peaceful awareness punctuated by thoughts, emotions, and experiences that arise and pass away like distant galaxies in the cosmic night. The void teaches us about the profound difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a feeling of disconnection, a sense that we are cut off from the warmth and companionship we need. But solitude, true solitude, is something entirely different. It's a spacious awareness that can embrace both connection and separation, both activity and rest, without being diminished by either. The few galaxies in the Boötes Void aren't lonely. They are magnificently, peacefully solitary, complete in themselves while remaining part of the larger cosmic story. This distinction offers us a gentle way of reframing our own experiences, of being alone. Those quiet moments in your life, the early morning before the world awakens, the evening walk when your thoughts settle into a natural rhythm, the peaceful minutes before sleep when the day's activities fade into memory. These aren't empty times to be filled with distraction, but precious opportunities to experience the spacious quality of your own awareness. The void also invites us to consider the profound mystery of dark matter and dark energy, the invisible forces that shape our universe's structure. Scientists estimate that these unseen influences make up about 95% of everything that exists, yet we can detect them only through their gravitational effects on visible matter. In a sense, the universe is mostly invisible to us, mostly mystery, mostly unknown. The Boötes Void exists within this vast ocean of cosmic mystery, shaped by forces we're only beginning to understand. This cosmic humility might offer us comfort in our own lives. So much of what influences our experience, the unconscious patterns that shape our behavior, the subtle environmental factors that affect our mood, the quantum processes in our brains that somehow give rise to consciousness, itself remains mysterious to us. Perhaps, like the universe itself, we are mostly mystery to ourselves. And that's not a problem to be solved, but a wonder to be appreciated. The void's formation also speaks to the patience of cosmic processes, the gravitational forces that slowly cleared this region of space, worked over billions of years, grain by grain, atom by atom, drawing matter away until only the most tenuous traces remained. There's something deeply soothing about this patience. It reminds us that the most profound transformations often happen through the accumulation of tiny changes over vast periods of time. Perhaps this offers insight into our own healing and growth. The patterns that no longer serve us, the old wounds that have shaped our responses, the limiting beliefs that constrain our possibilities, these might not disappear through dramatic sudden change, but through the patient, gentle process of allowing them to naturally migrate away from the center of our experience. Like matter slowly drifting out of a cosmic void, the void also embodies a kind of cosmic generosity. By being empty, it provides space for the universe to organize itself into beautiful structures. The cosmic web of galaxies exists partly because voids like boats create the spaces that allow this grand architecture to emerge. In emptying itself, the void serves the larger pattern, contributes to the beauty of the whole, while maintaining its own serene character. This suggests that our own capacity for emptiness, for listening rather than speaking, for receiving rather than giving, for being rather than doing, might be its own form of service to the world. Sometimes the most generous thing we can offer is our spacious presence, our willingness to provide a peaceful space where others can rest, reflect, or simply be themselves without pressure or judgment. The boat's void exists in a timescale that transcends human understanding, yet it offers us lessons about time that we can apply to our own brief lives. In the void, changes happen so slowly that what we might consider eternity is just a moment in its evolution. 1 billion years, longer than complex life has existed on Earth, is merely a brief chapter in the void's story. This perspective invites us to consider our own relationship with time, especially the anxious sense of urgency that often characterizes modern life. When we contemplate the void's patient evolution, our own deadlines and schedules begin to seem less absolute, less threatening. The universe operates on timescales that make our longest-term plans seem like brief impulses. This isn't meant to diminish the importance of our human concerns, but to place them within a context that might offer relief from the pressure we often feel to accomplish everything quickly, to solve all problems immediately, to reach our goals without delay. The void also teaches us about the beauty of impermanence in a paradoxical way. While the void itself has existed for billions of years, and will likely persist for billions more, it is not eternal. The universe's expansion will eventually stretch it even further, making it even more empty, until perhaps the last few galaxies within it drift so far apart that they disappear beyond each other's cosmic horizons. Even this vast emptiness is temporary, part of the universe's ongoing evolution toward an unknowable future. This cosmic impermanence might seem melancholy, but there's something deeply peaceful about accepting that everything, even the most seemingly permanent structures, is part of an ongoing process of change. Your current worries, your present circumstances, your existing limitations are all temporary configurations in the ongoing dance of existence. Like the matter that once filled the space where the void now exists, what troubles you today may naturally migrate away, leaving behind a spaciousness you cannot yet imagine. The void's relationship with its surrounding galaxy clusters also offers insights into how apparent opposites can define and support each other. The void exists partly because of the gravitational pull of the dense regions around it. It is empty precisely because its neighbors are full. The dense and the sparse, the crowded and the quiet, exist in a dynamic relationship that creates the beautiful structure we observe. This suggests that the contrasts in our own lives, times of intense activity and periods of rest, moments of deep connection and times of solitude, experiences of joy and episodes of sadness, might not be obstacles to overcome, but natural rhythms that give our lives their unique texture and meaning. Perhaps we need the quiet times to appreciate the busy ones, the solitude to value connection, the emptiness to recognize fullness. The void also embodies a profound kind of cosmic trust. It exists without striving, without trying to fill itself with galaxies or matter. It simply allows itself to be what it is, a vast, peaceful space that serves its role in the universe's structure without apology or explanation. There's something deeply restful about this acceptance, this willingness to be empty when emptiness is what's called for. In our achievement-oriented world, we're often taught that emptiness is a problem to be solved, that quiet times are opportunities we're wasting, that any space in our lives should be filled with productive activity. But the void suggests a different possibility, that emptiness itself might be a form of fullness, that our unfilled moments might be among our most valuable experiences, that the spaces between our activities might be where our deepest understanding emerges. As we prepare to conclude our gentle journey through this cosmic meditation, we might find that the boat's void has offered us something unexpected, not just scientific knowledge about the universe's structure, but a contemplative practice, a way of understanding ourselves and our place in the grand cosmic story that includes both the brightest stars and the darkest emptiness, both the most bustling galactic neighborhoods and the most serene cosmic solitudes. The void reminds us that we are part of a universe vast enough to include every possibility, patient enough to allow the slowest transformations, generous enough to provide space for both matter and emptiness, both activity and rest, both connection and solitude. In recognizing ourselves as part of this cosmic story, we might find a peace that transcends our individual concerns while honoring their importance in our personal experience. Asterisk. And so, as our gentle journey through the boat's void draws to a close, we find ourselves floating peacefully in the vast silence of cosmic space, surrounded by an emptiness so profound that it has become its own form of fullness. We've traveled together through 330 million light-years of cosmic serenity, explored the patient work of astronomers who discovered this great quietude, and contemplated what this vast emptiness might teach us about our own lives, our own capacity for peace, our own place in the magnificent mystery of existence. The void will continue its slow, patient evolution long after our journey together ends. Its few scattered galaxies will continue their ancient dance, separated by distances so vast that their light takes hundreds of millions of years to travel between them. The sparse hydrogen atoms floating in its depths will continue their lazy drift through space, carrying within them the memory of the Big Bang and the potential for future stars that may never be born. The invisible dark matter will continue its gravitational choreography, shaping space in ways we're only beginning to understand. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of the boat's void is how it reminds us that emptiness and fullness are not opposites, but partners in the cosmic dance. The void is empty of galaxies, but full of space. Empty of stars, but full of potential. Empty of noise, but full of a silence so profound it becomes its own kind of music. In its vast quietude, we've discovered not an absence, but a presence. A presence of peace itself, stretched across distances that dwarf imagination. As you rest now, wherever you are in the world, you might carry with you some of the void's serene spaciousness. When your mind feels crowded with thoughts and worries, you might remember that you contain within yourself the same capacity for peaceful emptiness that exists in the heart of this cosmic cathedral. When you feel overwhelmed by the density of modern life, you might recall that most of the universe consists of gentle, patient spaces where time moves slowly and change happens with the rhythm of cosmic seasons. The void teaches us that we don't always need to fill every moment with activity, every silence with sound, every space with things. Sometimes the most profound experiences arise in the quiet intervals, the pause between breaths, the moment of silence before sleep, the peaceful space that exists at the center of our being when we stop trying to be anything other than what we are. Your own consciousness, like the universe itself, contains both busy regions rich with thoughts and experiences, and vast quiet spaces where awareness rests in its own natural spaciousness. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you might explore these inner spaces, not empty voids to be feared, but peaceful dimensions of your own being where rest and renewal naturally occur. The few galaxies scattered through the boat's void continue their patient existence, proof that even in the most profound cosmic solitude, life and light persist. Similarly, even in your quietest moments, even when you feel most alone, you are never truly isolated. You are part of the same cosmic story that includes both the densest galaxy clusters and the most serene empty spaces. You are made of hydrogen, forged in the Big Bang, carbon created in the hearts of ancient stars, water that has cycled through countless forms across billions of years. As the universe slowly expands and the void grows even more vast and quiet, it embodies a kind of cosmic patience that we might learn from. Not everything needs to happen quickly. Not every problem needs immediate solution. Not every question requires urgent answer. Sometimes, the wisest response is to rest in the spacious awareness that can hold all experiences without being disturbed by any of them. The astronomers who discovered the Boötes Void couldn't have imagined, as they patiently counted galaxies night after night, that they were uncovering one of the universe's most profound meditation halls. In mapping this emptiness, they gave us a gift, a cosmic sanctuary where we can contemplate the beauty of space itself, the generosity of silence, the profound peace that exists at the heart of the vast mystery we call home. So tonight, wherever you are, whether in a bustling city where lights twinkle like earthbound stars, or in the countryside where the actual stars shine down through clear darkness, you carry within you your own connection to this cosmic void. You are part of its story, as it is part of yours. The same forces that shaped its serene emptiness flow through your own being. The same patience that carved out its vast dimensions lives within your own capacity for rest and renewal. Let your breathing slow now, like the lazy drift of hydrogen atoms through cosmic space. Let your thoughts settle like distant galaxies, finding their place in the cosmic web. Let the day's activities fade like light from ancient stars, beautiful in their time, but now giving way to the peaceful darkness that makes rest possible. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey through the cosmos. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your willingness to contemplate mysteries that stretch far beyond our daily experience, yet somehow illuminate the deepest aspects of our own being. Wherever you are in the world tonight, I hope you're resting well. May your dreams be as vast and peaceful as the Boötes Void itself. May you find in sleep the same serene spaciousness that exists in the heart of cosmic emptiness. May your rest be deep and renewing, filled with the quiet wisdom that comes when we allow ourselves to simply be, without effort or struggle, in the vast, friendly darkness that holds all light. Sweet dreams, fellow traveler in this cosmic story. The universe is vast enough to hold all your concerns, patient enough to allow your rest, and generous enough to offer you the gift of peaceful sleep. The void will continue its patient existence, and you will continue yours, both part of the same magnificent mystery. Good night. Asterisk.